We settled Mars over a century ago. Making this dusty rock our home wasn't easy, but the promise that led us across the void was freedom. Something my family's bled for many times.
Hello there, Sir from 17 once again, bringing you the next section in my Red Faction Armageddon Insane Difficulty video walkthrough. And this is the dig site. And this is the introduction to the chaos that will ensue for the rest of the game. Because Darius has been hired to do a job by a bunch of random dudes from Bastion. And it turns out that this job is not quite what it appears. But I'm not going to spoil anything because, as I've mentioned before, people like to watch my videos without actually playing the game, which is fucking ridiculous, but you know, thanks for watching the videos, I don't mind. And all this is here is an introduction to controlling the exoskeleton and the magnet gun. So if you follow what I do, you'll be able to get through the start of this. There's no enemies, there's no danger, it's very simple. And the magnet gun is the most overpowered weapon on the game. You will carry it with you for the entire duration of it if you've got any sense, and it will kill anything except for the berserkers. And the general thesis of what the tool does is it doesn't really work on the concept of magnets, because obviously when two magnets get together they repel, but on this you put a magnet on something, you put a magnet on something else, and it will draw them together regardless of what they are or regardless of structure. It is really good, and the longer the distance that the object travels, the more velocity it picks up, the more damage it does, and you can use it to kill pretty much everything on the game if you can aim. It's fantastic. And this section here is just an introduction for dummies on how to use the magnet gun, so just use it to strip this shrine. And while this is happening, I'm going to talk about something else, because I once again find myself watching The World's Strictest Parents, which has two English spoilt kids who are mangy, greedy, gluttonous, fucking hellish children at the tender age of about 17 or 18, and they go over to America to pretty strict families, and all these families seem to be in the deep south. They all tend to be on the Bible Belt, and you know, are all ministers and what have you. But instead of going on about how it makes me, you know, want to fucking murder things and all that kind of stuff, I've kind of let the anger go through my system, and this one is actually a little bit more constructive than the last one I watched. And all it really makes me think is maybe I should pretend to be an absolute douchebag of a son, so that I could get on this fucking program and get a free trip to America, because this, I've never really mentioned in my videos of my aspiration to go to America, but it's very high on my list of things to do in my life, because everything in your country looks fucking awesome, from the food to the people, to the culture, to everything. It's just a better version of where I live, in the most simplest terms. And I can't wait to see it, because it just looks fucking awesome. And that's regarding all the crazy weather, all the crazy fucking murders and gang warfare and all that kind of shit, or the fact that I'll probably get obesity with how much good food there is and how much I like to eat. But yeah, that is the strategy. Be a wanker, get on this program, get to see America. Win-win. But anyhow, this is, now that the outbreak has occurred and we've awoken, I think it's like 3 or 4 days down the line, you'll now get introduced to Darius in his lovely new outfit, which has got ropes and pittons and all sorts of climbing gear all over it. And I was kind of hoping that there would be a climbing section in the game, but there isn't, which is a fucking shame, because you're kitted out to do some bloody climbing. You look like a reject from Pitch Black with your goggles and your bald head. But unfortunately, this is the introduction to the aliens. And I don't remember the names of any of the aliens, because the game does that good of a job of familiarising me with them and explaining the backstory. But, you know, just to give you some kind of synopsis, should I say, the seal that we broke was sealing away these aliens in the core of Mars. They've now broken out, and we have to stop them. And various other bullshit. But right now you've got the magnet gun, so I would definitely say use this time to familiarise yourself with the weapon, because I'm going to be using it a lot, and it is so useful. I cannot tell you how useful this gun is. You put this gun on any enemy on the game, you fire it as far away as possibly can, they will fly all the way across there and hopefully die, and if they don't, repeat the process and they will die. It's that simple. It is such a fantastic gun. And it's fun to use, which is the most important factor here. You're having fun while you're slaughtering the crazy aliens. And just remember to pick up all the salvage you can, get creative, destroy, rebuild, all that good stuff. And this is the upgrade station. So, see what we can get. We've got recoil reduction, fast hands, shockwave, health increase 1, enemy indicators, and evasive. And I think I'm going to buy evasive because that enables you to take less damage while you roll. And I don't know if it makes you roll faster, but it is super useful, and buy it. It is the shit. So that's the first one I buy. And now I'm just using the magnet gun to get salvage and various other stuff, and continuing to move through this area. And what's going to happen is well, this is a cutscene that I haven't trimmed out. I was about to say I just did, but I fucking didn't, apparently. And these are the first aliens you're going to run into, and I think they're called creepers. And they're basically the throwaway enemy that the game sends at you just to try and piss you off. The kind of the Red Faction Armageddon equivalent of a wretch, but they're nowhere near as deadly or as effective. They kind of jump about, spit acid, scratch you when they get close, and they try and overwhelm you with the numbers. But as I've just showed you, the hammer is fantastic against them, and they're not actually that aggressive. So if you run past them and you ignore them, you can generally get where you want to go without them giving you too much trouble. If they do get in your way, use your impact to knock them back. I wouldn't say bother with the dual pistols that the game gives you at the start, because they are probably the most useless thing since male tampons, and I would not recommend using them. Just focus on your hammer and your magnet gun, and the magnet gun, like I say, is a multi-purpose tool of destruction. It is the fucking shit. Anyhow, this is a cutscene to show you the spawning mechanic on this game. Every so often there's going to be hives like this. They will continue to spit enemies out unless you deal with them. And as just displayed, if you hit them once with this hammer, it will destroy them. A lot of the times you don't have the opportunity though, because when they're spitting out bigger and badder enemies, the hammer is definitely not the choice. This is the shotgun, but do not bother with it. It is a waste of time. It is probably the weakest shotgun I've used in a while. It's kind of cool in the infestation mode, but in this mode it is fucking garbage and uninsane. Don't even bother, you're just asking to get killed. And for the majority of this level, I would definitely say just ignore the enemies, run past them. I'm not going to be buying the autopsy ability, which gives you salvage for killing enemies, because the amount of salvage you get is so minuscule, it's kind of pointless. So there is actually no real incentive to kill the enemies on this game. It's kind of strange for a game that has an upgrade system that doesn't benefit you from killing enemies. So if you ever get the opportunity, make sure that you flee, make sure that you run. It's just smarter and it'll save your ass. Right now this is intimidating. As soon as you fall through this ground, there's going to be 2 nests directly in front of you. There's a 3rd nest there, and there is a lot of creepers. And as you just witnessed, if you just keep dive rolling, you will dive past things, and now that you're a little bit more evasive with your roll thanks to the ability, the enemies will have a tough time in pinning down your position, and you should be able to regenerate your life. And luckily enough, the health regenerates really quick on this game. And I've just trimmed out another cutscene there, as things go to hell. There's a lot of enemies, and right now use your nanoforge to rebuild the bridge in front of you, and all this is about is making sure you keep moving towards the exit, wherever you're being pointed in. And if you never know where you're going, if you press back, it will do that lovely breadcrumb trail that it just did then with the glowing lights, and that will show you where you need to be. And this is a technique that you have to get good at doing. And all you have to do is run. As soon as you run out of sprint, practice your dodge rolling, all that kind of stuff. Use your impact, keep sprinting as soon as you get the ability back, dodge roll, put up your waypoint so it shows you where you're going, all that good stuff. And if you can get good at doing this, the second to last level and the last level are going to be very simple. They're very luck based, but they're very simple when used in the correct term. But just keep pushing forward. You're going to fall through a couple of times, and as soon as you fall through that one, you're into the next section of the level. And coming up is going to be the introduction to the actual enemies that can deal damage to you. And the ones that are called, I think, Ravagers, and they're red. They throw sparks. They jump about like fucking mosquitoes. They're annoying, but they're pretty simple.
According to current workforce orders, there should be.
But just keep moving through the colony. You'll notice that I pick up some audio logs. I don't pick up all the audio logs, and the reason for this is A, the guide is not intended to get you the audio log achievement, it's not what I do, and B, I'm actually playing this on a different tag to my Seraphim 17 one, and the reason for that is I don't have any friends on that tag, and because I've already got the insane achievement, I couldn't have it popping at the end of the game to kind of prove to the people that like to doubt the difficulty that it is beaten on the correct one. Because regardless of how much you struggle in a game, regardless of how much it is obviously a hardest difficulty, you will always get that one opinionated douchebag that's like, when I played it, I only got hit once and I died, this is not on hardest difficulty, you are a liar. And for those people, I just wish for an 18-wheeler to plough through the face and fire the teeth off into the fucking distance, because they're a worthless excuse for functioning organs and should not exist. But as soon as you come into this area, you're going to get ambushed by the enemies. This one is the red one, and the other one is the blue one. And the differences between them, the blue guy has a projectile attack where he fires a slow-moving electrical charge that does a lot of damage, and the red ones fire a very quick, like staccato triple burst of energy that does a little bit of damage, but they can fire it a lot more frequently. And that is pretty much the differences in the enemy. And we've now got the charge launcher, which is a really easy gun to use and a super effective tool against the aliens. If they bunch up, it's your best weapon. If they're all spread across the map, use your magnet gun, and you put a magnet on the enemy, you look away, you fire him, he fires across, and it kills him. It's that simple. Rinse and repeat. This gun breaks the game. It's fucking awesome. It is the Plasma Cutter 2. It truly is awesome. And then once everything's been killed and it says find the signal, that signals that you've now killed all the enemies, you're safe to explore. Make sure that you destroy as many buildings as you can, pick up all the salvage and all the ammunition you can, because early on in the game, ammo is not scarce, but you will find yourself running out of it in the most inopportune moments. Later on you will get upgrades that enable you to carry more and pick up more, but a lot of the time if you've got a go-to gun, you will find yourself running out of it. And one of the weapons for me personally was a gun called the... What the fuck is it called now? I think it's a black hole shooting gun. I can't remember its name, I do apologise. But it's really late on, and it fires a black hole, and it's brilliant because it does massive damage and it destroys a ton of things. And it's kind of my go-to weapon for tough situations. And I always find myself running out of ammo with it. But look at that. That is the second time that randomly explosive geometry has tried to kill me. And it's kind of crazy. I nearly die from things that are absolutely not related to things that are intended to kill you. It's kind of baffling. But if you come over here, you're going to examine this guy. He brings up the nano forge. You hear the distress from Lieutenant Pierce, who is part of the Red Faction military that you're going to be meeting up with. And you're going to be escorting a convoy on your road back to Bastion. But you're not going to see that in this video because this is probably going to end sooner, and that will be something that you'll see in the next part of the guide. But yeah, it's a fun game. It has its problems, but on a fundamental level, it's fun, and that's what's important. And this guide is probably the most fun I've had making a guide, because it wasn't necessarily challenging, but the way I tried to play it gave it a little bit more challenge than necessary. And I don't know what it is about this. I really think that this is going to be a well-received guide. My only fear is you can play New Game Plus on this game. You can also save up salvage to unlock cheats that range from unlimited nano energy, unlimited weapon, unlimited ammo with weapons that aren't even in the game that are so powerful you're practically invincible, and obviously that's going to make it less of a need for a guide, which kind of sucks, because if there was none of that and you had to play insane from the start, there's probably a lot of people that would struggle. But it is what it is. Hopefully it'll still get the traffic that I intend for it, because it's a pretty awesome guide. I'm not going to lie, I enjoyed it and I think it's cool, and I hope you enjoy it. But that right there that I just killed is called a monolith, and all it is something that buffs the enemies. It's the equivalent to the engineers on Halo ODST. It'll also fire a very slow-moving projectile that does a lot of damage and semi-locks onto you, so you need to kill them and prioritize them as best you can, because if you don't, they're going to cause some real shit. But once it's dead, you'll notice that the green aura that the enemy's got is completely removed, and that means that they're no longer buffed, and then you can proceed to magnet gun rape them, like I'm about to do with these guys. So just magnet away, they'll fire across. This is the melee attack that finishes them off that I mentioned in I think the previous video, or maybe earlier on in this one. Super useful. That right there means that enemies are about to spawn. If you can time it so that you can get about 3 charges out before the enemies turn up, detonate as soon as they appear and you'll be able to spawn kill them. It's a technique that if you know is coming is really effective, and later on there's a couple of sections where there's 3 or 4 spawns in a row, and if you can get to them before they happen, you don't have to fight anything because you can just kill them on the spawn, and it is a really empowering ability that if you can learn, you will have a lot of success with it. But keep following your waypoint. Oh, this is that section. But it can't, because there's only like 25 seconds left. It can't be. There's a section coming up where you man this excavator, and there's no cover except for one panel that you can repair, and you have to basically go on a gauntlet. But no, sorry, this is not that section. This is a different section. My bad. Anyhow, press the button. It's going to lower the elevator, and I will see you guys in the next section to the level. So thanks for watching, and you take care now.